Hey. Oh yeah, and we're live. Okay,
Live.
we're
Hey.
live. It's like
Welcome to Nemo.
freedom
Good morning,
Friday.
Genesis. Whew.
Here we are.
It does not feel like Friday. I heard one of you say, like, is it Friday?
No,
Like
I don't feel like Friday at all.
What day
Monday?
is it?
No. I don't know what day it is. I know it doesn't feel like Friday.
Yeah, maybe it's like Friday-ish.
It feels
Friday-ish.
kind of like Wednesday, Thursday, like,
I don't know. Yes, I
Even
guess.
Monday.
even Monday.
That's
Yeah.
what I said. It feels like a
Yeah.
Monday.
What is this? What
Why
is
don't we let's make it what we want it to be.
make it create our own day?
In
What do we want
Amsterdam,
the day to be? What
it'd
would you
be
want the day to feel like? What would you want
Friday.
it to feel like?
Big day. I want it to
This
feel
might be our jam session now. What would
like
you
a
want
like
it
I
to
wanted to feel like a trampoline. Like when you're bouncing on a trampoline, the big bounce, right?
Yes.
So this is the big bounce. It's
That
like
keeps coming
boing,
up.
boing, boing, kaboing. This is Friday.
That's your Friday.
Ah,
I'm gonna make it so. Kapoing.
so then it is so.
That's what it is. What about you, Tracy? I don't know if you have the energy for trampoline activity right now.
Come on,
No,
Slay
but I
Gang.
can envision it. I can envision it, definitely.
We got the book Slay with.
Yeah, we're gonna slay. Here, that's what we're here for. Can't forget what we came here for.
Right.
Any day, whatever day it is, we slaying.
We
Here.
slaying. This is where we do it.
Yep. So
This is where we do it.
How we do it. Okay, so let's start with the message from the Slay Bible today.
yes.
Okay.
From the time we are born, we are bombarded with oxymoronic ideals of how we should act, how we should live, what we should do, and who we should be. We are told that we are individuals who are free to make our own decisions. Yet, we are taught to conform in every sense of the word. Think about it. The masses conform to the right neighborhood, the right schools, the right careers, the right religion, the right political party, the right whatever.
Mhm.
I could go on, but you get the gist. So many mixed messages. No wonder so many people are bewildered, struggling, and unhappy. Get up and go. Sit down. Shut up. A closed mouth don't get fed. Speak up. Follow your dreams. Get a good job. Keep your head to the sky. Keep your nose to the ground. The sky is the limit. Hard work pays off. The world is yours. Don't rock the boat. Let your voice be heard. Don't talk back. Do you, boo. Do what I tell you to do. And like good little boys and girls, we assimilate to these ideals and live in accordance with such beliefs. Anything outside of them are deemed as deviance or deviations. We despise and criminalize and penalize those deviants as outcasts, delinquents, criminals, and a whole list of other names I care not to mention. We
Mm.
think they are bad because they are unlike the so called normal people of society. They frequently end up being ostracized, imprisoned, or even homeless. It's our way or the highway. Then, in order to get governmental assistance, qualify for certain programs, or to get back into our good graces, they have to jump through hoops, bow down, and kiss ass. They must be obedient, work. They must be obedient, work hard, shut up, and listen, do the right things, act the right way, and live the right lifestyle. We judge and prejudge people without even knowing anything about them. We think there is something wrong with them. Really? Well, let me ask you, what's wrong with us? Where's the love? Where's the understanding and acceptance of others? Cultivation of authenticity. Hell, where is the freedom? It's
Mm.
Freedom Friday. So I just wanted to put it out there. Where is the freedom? And I ask these questions out of respect, love, and a desire for us to broaden our knowledge and understand, to broaden our knowledge, understanding, and acceptance of the beauty and diversity of all humanity. Because I am of the tribe that believes every person has value. Every person is here for a reason, and that reason is to live in accordance with whatever resonates within him or herself. So, where is the freedom, y'all? Where is the freedom?
All right.
Well, I'm glad you read that last part because the first part just pissed me off. I remember. I was like, wait, I'm turning schizophrenic listening to you. Because that's the condition they have us in. And when you read it out loud like that, it's so clear. That's schizophrenia. Those, you're describing the same thought patterns and thought waves, and it leaves you doubting everything you could think of.
Yes.
You know, it leaves you questioning anything that you see. And it's hard. You can't remember, or was this good or was this bad? You know, what am I supposed to be doing now? So it was a diagnostic, you know, a very tough pill to swallow, but I don't think there's anything that you read that we can't relate to in some kind of way. So it is quite upsetting that this is the world that we have to dance in.
It's not even a good dance. I don't know what that is.
And
that's not the dance I want. That's just
right. That's why that little part in the middle. Oh, it's coming from love. I'm asking, you know, to reminding us of what the quest is. That you're not just stating it to say, okay, here's this big mess over here, but to begin to come at it. You know, you're asking the listener, the reader, to come at it from a place of let's fix this. Let's do better. Yeah,
exactly.
You know, I like that.
Exactly.
I just can't answer you because
nobody
I'm
can.
still pissed off.
It's so irritating.
You don't pluck my nerves.
I don't pluck your nerves. But even writing it, it was like, it really is oxymoronic. It doesn't make sense in any angle that we're you know, they're coming at us. It's like, okay, well, we want you to be free to do this, this, and that. But the truth is, you don't want us to be free. You want us to do, you want us to what you want us to do.
Right.
But if you allow us to be free, truly free, I don't know. I don't think that's what you're really asking me for.
No, and you know what? That's the part we have to remember, because you never, ever expect your abuser. Somebody has a history of abusing you. You never go to them for help. You never expect them to have the answer to your problems. I mean, we would have to question your wisdom.
Exactly.
If you seriously think that going to your abuser, the one who has shown nothing but abuse and abusive behavior, not just towards you, but that's just the way they are, and then you're going to go to them or follow their models,
yes,
you know, to fix problems that we've always had, that we're still having. So I think if we remember that's their objective, the objective of that outside energy, right, is to keep us in a space where we can be used at will.
Exactly.
We can be utilized like toilet paper to create companies, to wipe other countries' ass, to go somewhere and kill somebody. We could be used and manipulated. Right?
That's the stink face now. We're like,
Yeah, and if we can remember that that's their objective, that's the objective, then we have to stand in our own truth. And I have to confess that's in the beginning, I think we're all lazy that way. Yeah. I mean, it took me years to finally stand, because I was like, oh, it don't affect me. You know, I'm just going to do my job and do what I got to do. But you cannot participate out there without, in some small way, contributing to that nonsense, because you're still a slave. Exactly. You know, you're getting up, you're out of your own bed, in your own comfort, from your home, you're leaving your children, your family, and everybody, and you're going somewhere else. Yeah, to give someone who don't give a damn about you the best of your life. We give them 30, 40, 50 years. We give them the best years of our lives, and then what's left for us is nothing. Nothing. You know, so yeah, I think as long as we play in that, I'm not condemning anyone. This is a woke moment, right? We wake up and like, oh, I know what that's about, and I'm going to look at my life differently now so that I can see places where I can exist without surrendering to that, or without playing a role, you know, in that.
Yeah. No, that's like, ooh, that's a lot. That would have been like a jam session for like a half a day. Right. Just to unpack, process, reflect, and then literally, as we started saying, to create the reality that we want. Because I think the programming has been so good. Because we talk about as if we were like when we were little girls and boys, the programming continues. It doesn't stop.
650 years.
Yep, it's done so well that those, you know, I'm still, more recently, I'm thinking a lot about both Harriet Tubman and Sojourner Truth, partly as women, as Black women, women who are also immigrant, where I'm just constantly saying, because we are treated differently, where I'm like, am I a woman in 2020? Am I? in this new era, am I not? Ain't I a woman? But also the idea that the spaces we in, it's the modern plantation. And some people don't realize that. Like, because you're getting a paycheck, because things are being said to really keep you in place and in check, you think it's freedom. You think you value. You think you're gonna be appreciated, but you're simply a number still on the block. And you can be sold and dismissed and thrown off at any moment for no reason. And that's all legal.
Mm-hmm.
Right? As human
Legalized
beings,
slavery.
yep.
Yeah.
As human beings, this is still happening. And then you have others. What's disappointing who may look like you or say the right thing and all the progressive stuff. Oh my God, humanity, dignity. As you were mentioning all the government support stuff, I'm like, that's the one thing I'm like, stay away from that. If you ever want to feel inhumane, try to get support as a person who doesn't have the means to stay afloat for whatever reason. And some of it is circumstance. But for you to be able to go and ask for help and see how you feel, like how much smaller you continue to feel every time you even have the courage to ask for help.
Yeah.
Because we all demonize, penalize, criminalize for just asking for help and for just sometimes being in circumstances beyond our control. But we are blamed for those systems that were created way before us, and you're trying to live within them. But then you're being blamed for a system you never created.
Right.
But then to make you believe like you the one who created the situation. It's just like, and it's working perfectly because there are other people blaming the victim. There are other people literally penalizing, and you get re-victimized over and over. Simply because you don't have the means, you don't have the power, you don't have the privileges that those who created the system way before still have, and sustaining and maintaining for their own benefits. But then those are also camouflaged as the saviors of the world. And so that's even more confusing because your sanity is going to be questioned, because it's like the people who appear to be helping or progressive or whatever it is, these are the owners. These are the one literally maintaining that system that you're in right now. So that's what when you say the abuser, like, and then sometimes we're going back to them and say, hey, master, can you help me fix this? Can we change this policy? Can we change these things? And you're like, in what world?
Yeah.
What would that do for me to help you be in a better situation? Now, there are some people who are like, you exaggerating. No, we have freedom. We have this document. We have this and that. Look how far we've come. I'm like, how far have we come? You literally did not. I mean, we made some progress, but we are so happy with crumbs where I'm like, those are crumbs. You don't have a piece or whole of anything. They are still crumbs from like hundreds of years ago. And we still literally, that's what we fighting and begging for. And now it's like we divided just for those piece of crumbs. And we're still being mistreated, but not seeing it for what it is. And for us, not even be willing to like, okay, what is this? Like be able to look at it critically and see it for what it is, but then deciding, okay, what are we gonna do? Right? Because sometimes we still going again to the source of your literally your demise and say, oh, can we fix this? I'm like, no, that person doesn't want you to to be free at all. Their whole hope and goal is for you to stay exactly where you at.
Keeping us hating ourselves is the best weapon that they have, because when they disempowered the Black woman by convincing her to hate herself, to hate the way she looks, even her daughters passing on that same self-hate. We don't define it as self-hate. To us, it's just obedience and to make the abuse stop. So we thought that by doing it this way, that the abuse would stop. So now it's time to take stock. It's like, wait a minute, we did it. It didn't stop. Nope. Right? Straightening my hair did not get me more respect as a corporate executive. Right. Shaving my head didn't do it. Like it doesn't have nothing to do with that. It has to do with getting us to suppress who we are. Even listen, I thought that the cosmetic industry, like the hair straighteners, was a $1 billion industry, which I think is a lot of money, but it's $1 trillion. Okay, that's a lot of freaking money, and billions of it all from Black women. So we drank the Kool-Aid. Now we listen. We're descendants of Egyptian gods and goddesses. So we invented makeup. That's not what I'm talking about. Painting our faces. I mean, indigenous people. That's what we do. That's ours. We did that. So we have nothing against that. And even putting extensions in our hair. We used to dye hemp rope and braid it into our hair, or black ribbon, right, or wool, or threads or something. So that's us too. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the complete disfiguration, the complete altering of your features so that you can, to take away the Blackness, to learn to loathe your super curls to the point that they're giving them numbers now. I mean, we're super curly. That's what we are. So it's like all of these hidden, not really hidden, but all of these little programming things, right, that are in everything we do. And even now, the way the Black woman is being portrayed. She's light skinned. I looked at, when I was in New York, I'm looking at all the posters, all the media, where anywhere you see a Black woman being represented, it's extremely light skinned, with the exception of the plus models, where they're using like really dark skinned women. So, we're being sold all kinds of fallacies along the way. And if we remember that's not our friend out there.
Yeah. Woo, that thing is, it's, and it's everywhere. It's not one. So Belinda's asking, am I talking about the political system that is trying to keep us from freedom? It is beyond political system. There are multiple systems.
But good question.
Yeah, because even when you think of the spaces we started in as children, and even now, there are multiple systems that are interconnected, and they complement each other in this quest of programming us and keeping us in check. So you have the home, there are multiple institutions. We have you have the church who do the same. The media is like the biggest one that's like truly, oh my God, that is the foundation of all, like everything. And then when you think of who control, sometimes it's not even, you think it's multiple people. The world is so many, it's not the whole population. You're still talking about that small percentage that control the whole. And so either you're part of that, and it's done well from everything you're watching, you're listening to, your devices and so forth. It's all interconnected. And so it would be great to be like, oh, it's that one system. Those systems sustain it, they maintain it. Those are literally the ones, all the players, they know their role and they do it so well, because wherever you go, it's at play, particularly as women, minorities, and any who's like in the outsider, who's not part of the mainstream, who's not part of the power structure. And so if you're not part of that, literally in that, and a lot of us is, we really think, like a lot of time, like I love having conversations sometimes with kids who are younger, because they question the obvious. It's just like, why is this way? Like, why do I have to do X, right? Like there are some things where they're like, this makes no sense. That's why I love this oxymoronic term. You come up with you're like, that makes sense. It makes no sense. And they'll tell you like, why do I have to do this? Like there are certain things that are at play that we're like, you do this, right? Because when you read the passage, like, do this, don't do that. And then you do the one thing, they're like, no, don't do that, do the other one. And you're trying to maintain it. And I remember kids sometimes with the simplest thing, where it's been like some gender stuff, where I remember my son went to buy, like, I don't know what they were buying. And it was like, deodorant come in all these flavors and smell and whatever. And he's like, why can't I smell like strawberries? And I'm like, oh my God, that's a good question. Why are they separating these things? But they look at it literally like, I just want to smell like a fruit. So you're saying like, I can't smell like a fruit because I'm a boy? Like, what are you saying? They don't
make it for you.
Like, right. And so it's like, why would I just want to have like this unscented situation or this weird thing? But what you're saying to them, they're like, so I can't smell like strawberry. So I can't do this. And so you start seeing, like, when they see things happening, like, why is this? And some are very simple. And to us, they're like, oh, this is like child, whatever. But we do certain things where you're like, no, you can't do this. And you're like, how come? But then you look at somebody else doing it. No one questioned them, right? So if you look at it at bigger issues where you're like, how come this person can go out and run at night shirtless? Any of us try to do that and see how you feel. Just thinking about the thought of like, whoo, it's midnight. Do I really want to walk out of my house Tell me how much freedom you think you have as a woman, as a person of color. Try leaving your house and see the thoughts, the feelings that come with the idea of being out in the street. And sometimes for some of us, even in your own home, like you don't have that freedom. And so a lot of time it's just allowing you to think about that. But also for those who, if they're not in that situation, allowing yourself to put yourself in that situation and see, because some people don't see it. They're like, you exaggerating.
Yeah.
Like, this is a free country. We can do this, we can do that. But of course, in comparison, we're always pointing at the other.
Right.
And we're trying to make things happen in places where we have no business in. But I'm like, we refuse to look in the mirror and see what we're doing in our own backyard, in our own home, in our own streets, in our own cities.
And
right?
that's where it has to start. It has to start with you looking in the mirror at you. Yeah. You know, that's the whole point of even bringing it up at this point in time. Like, we think we're free. Well, okay, let's have a conversation. Let's begin, you know, reading the book. For those of you who have the book, 82 to 82, 83 is about where I was reading from. But let's start having these conversations. Let's start putting this on the table. If you really believe you're free, okay, I'm fine with that. I want to continue to have these conversations. So bring it.
To be continued. So I hope we answer the question, Belinda. And I think that's where I think sometimes talking to each other, sharing those experiences, because sometimes we're not going to know, like, all those experiences, we're not all going to go through them. But my thing is, when anyone come to me, I believe their lived experience. I don't question it, because I know the world that we live in. So I don't need you to prove nothing and bring me receipts and all that. Your stories, particularly when you're talking with people who've been victimized, it's not a one-time thing. You've been victimized over and over, whatever spaces you in. Like, to me, as far as I'm concerned, particularly as a Black woman, there is no safe place for me. None. I used to think home was safe. Like, safety is like within me, as we talked about in terms of that sacred space recently. There is none. I don't want to be delusional into thinking like, if I'm here, if the doors are locked, there is none in my bed, in my behind, none of that. So that allows me to flow differently. That allow me to really think about my safety first, who and what's around me, and to think about me protecting me rescuing me when crazy happens, because they're always happening to us. And what do I have in place? I don't expect anyone, any system, any institution to come to my rescue, especially as a Black woman. Like, nobody's coming. That's the one thing I had to grab. Nobody is coming. No one. And so
we know that.
But we are here. We're
here for each other.
Yeah,
exactly.
And it's a very, very it's one of the peculiarities that I had shared with you, Tracy, about us as Black women. This is a very culture specific, you know, this type of having the shared abuser, you know, with that same root. So it's a space that we understand about each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you for bringing it up, Marie. That took a cojones.
All of it. So thank you, everyone, for stopping by. We're gonna say thank you.
And
so
writing the book took cojones too.
And living the book.
Living the book takes more cojones. Yeah.
That's right.
Because it's not, because a lot of people do those things. Like, you know, I tell people, I come from a nonprofit background. Like, I've been in those spaces where, you know, we're doing good. We see people doing good, but sometimes it's like we also have to take the blinders off with certain things and be willing to look at the system, because sometimes we just like, oh, it's not there, or because great things are happening in certain spaces. So then we forget there are others who are still dealing with the abuser, colonizer. And again, that's why I think each one of us finding a way, some kind of outlet to be able to process that, express that, reflect on that. And to me, that's a way of maintaining our well-being and sanity. Because one of the things, particularly as women, we get so many titles, right? And for us, we get triple, quadruple titles. So it's like, crazy is always one of it. There's always hysteria with us. The moment the thing they're telling other people to do, like, do this, you unlimited, all of a sudden we are too much. We are aggressive. We are this. And so the thing that allow others to be free That's a threat when we do it. When we speak, that's a threat. And so it's not received the same way. So free looks different depending on where you at. And free is also about, you have to put that in context, because sometimes we're like, oh, if it's good for you, it's good for me. I'm like, no, if you try to be that free, you're going to get killed. Literally.
For real.
Killed.
Yep. Yeah.
So you have to think about,
that's right,
where you at? Like, who's there? And how does it truly apply to you? Because sometimes we really think it applies to, and it's been since the beginning of time. Like, you see movement where you're like, oh, everybody get this. And you're like, no,
really.
we didn't get ours. It wasn't official for us until like much later. And even now, we're still not sure. Like, but again, we get to create that within our own communities.
All right. And that's going to do it this morning. Thank you all for sharing today. Thank you for joining us for Me Moments in the Morning. For those of you who are coming on over to Clubhouse, please do so. Yes, and we'll continue by sharing our gratitude, intention, and affirmation of the day. And with that, we are complete. Much love to you.
Thank you, everyone. See you next time.